Pep Guardiola could now lure Trent Alexander-Arnold to Man City. A shock return to the Premier League? Football has a way of throwing up storylines that feel almost unthinkable. Few would have imagined, even 6 months ago, that Trent Alexander-Arnold, Liverpool's Scouse heartbeat, their creative right-back, their number 66 and homegrown talisman, would walk away from Anfield in search of a new chapter. Fewer still would have dared predict that the boy from West Derby could end up wearing the sky blue of Manchester City, Liverpool's fiercest rivals of the modern era. Yet, if reports from Spain and England are to be believed, Pep Guardiola could be eyeing just such a move. The idea of Trent leaving Liverpool was painful enough for Red supporters. The notion of him linking up with Guardiola and City, however, would be nothing short of seismic in Premier League history. It's a storyline that touches on loyalty, legacy, ambition, and the ruthlessness of elite football. To understand how this potential switch could come about, we need to dive deep into Trent's journey so far, his difficult start to life in La Liga, and why City's interest could set off one of the biggest transfer storms of the decade. Trent Alexander-Arnold's shock exit. From Liverpool, when Trent announced his decision to leave Liverpool in the summer of 2025, it broke hearts across Merseyside. His contract was set to expire in June, and despite efforts from the club to convince him to stay, he opted to join Real Madrid on a free transfer. It was a move framed by ambition, a chance to test himself at the biggest club in world football, in a new league, under a different spotlight. Liverpool fans, though hurt, could at least take solace in the idea that their academy graduate had chosen Madrid, a team not in direct competition with them domestically. It was a bitter pill, but one they could just about swallow. After all, Steven Gerrard once flirted with Chelsea in 2005, but stayed true. Trent, in contrast, decided to start fresh in Spain. But Madrid? It had a certain glamour that softened the blow. Yet football never allows time for sentiment. Fast forward just a few weeks into the 2025-26 season, and the situation already looks complicated. A difficult start at Real Madrid. Trent's debut in La Liga was eagerly anticipated. Spanish media heralded his arrival as part of Madrid's strategy to modernize their fullback options. With Dani Carvajal aging and battling injuries, there was a sense that Alexander-Arnold could reinvent the role of right-back in Spain just as he had in England. But reality has been harsh. After just one competitive league start, Trent found himself back on the bench. Carvajal, fit again and captaining the side, dominated the right-back position in a 3-0 win over Real Oviedo, while the Englishman sat unused. Against Osasuna, when he did play, Mundo Deportivo claimed he looked far from his best, adding that he went largely unnoticed. For a player defined by his passing range and creativity, that's a brutal early assessment. The Spanish press can be unforgiving. Their criticisms were amplified across social media, with comparisons drawn between Trent and other English exports who initially struggled in La Liga. Patience, as manager Xabi Alonso urged, will be key, but Real Madrid is not a club known for patience. Why Manchester City could enter the frame. According to Caught Offside, via transfer insider Indy Kayla, Manchester City are monitoring the situation closely. Pep Guardiola has long admired Alexander-Arnold's skill set. His ability to invert into midfield, dictate play, and unlock defenses with his passing aligns perfectly with Guardiola's evolving tactical system. At City, Trent could be deployed as an inverted right-back, similar to the role John Stones has excelled in. Alternatively, he could even feature as a deep-lying playmaker, something Guardiola has done before with players like Philipp Lahm and Joshua Kimmich at Bayern Munich. The tactical flexibility makes him an ideal candidate for Pep's philosophy. City are also quietly planning for the future. Kyle Walker is not getting younger, while Rico Lewis, though highly promising, is still developing. The opportunity to add an England international at the peak of his powers is rare. If Trent becomes unsettled in Madrid, City will not hesitate to strike. The contract hurdle. Here's the catch. Trent signed a 6-year contract with Real Madrid, keeping him tied down until 2031. Florentino Perez, Madrid's president, does not sell easily, especially not to a direct European rival. If City were to test Madrid's resolve, it would require an astronomical bid, potentially shattering transfer records for a defender. Madrid, however, have a history of allowing high-profile players to leave if they no longer fit. Angel Di Maria, Mesut Ozil, and more recently Casemiro all departed once their roles diminished. If Carvajal reclaims dominance at right-back and Trent grows restless, a similar path cannot be ruled out. Liverpool's nightmare scenario. For Liverpool fans, the thought of Trent in Manchester City blue is unthinkable. He is not just a player. He is a symbol of the club's academy, its identity, and its modern rise under Jurgen Klopp. To lose him to Real Madrid was painful, but understandable. To see him line up under Pep Guardiola, Liverpool's greatest managerial rival of the past decade, would be seen as an outright betrayal. The parallels with Michael Owen's move from Liverpool to Real Madrid in 2004 and his eventual return to the Premier League with Newcastle and later Manchester United are striking. Owen's United stint still leaves a sour taste for many. If Trent chose City, the fallout would be magnified tenfold, given the current rivalry between the two clubs. Media and fan reaction already, speculation has sent shockwaves through the football community. Spanish papers view the rumors as premature, insisting that Alonso will give Trent time to adapt. English tabloids, however, are playing up the drama, framing it as a potential revenge move by Guardiola against Liverpool. Fans on social media are divided. Some argue Trent would thrive under Pep, finally unlocking his potential as a hybrid midfielder-defender. Others believe he would tarnish his legacy beyond repair. On Liverpool fan forums, the mood is one of disbelief and defiance. Many refuse to believe Trent would ever join City. On City forums, excitement simmers at the thought of Guardiola finally poaching Liverpool's crown jewel. Guardiola's history with English talent. It's worth noting that Pep Guardiola has a history of targeting English players to strengthen his squad. From Jack Grealish to Calvin Phillips, Pep has sought to blend homegrown stars with international talent. His admiration for technical, intelligent players is well documented, and Trent fits that mold perfectly. In many ways, Alexander-Arnold could be the missing piece Guardiola has long sought, a creative playmaker who happens to start at right back, capable of reshaping how City attack from deep. What happens next? Much will depend on how Trent responds to his early struggles in Spain. Does he knuckle down, adapt to Xabi Alonso's demands, and fight for his place? Or does frustration build, opening the door for Premier League suitors? It's still early in the season, with only 2 La Liga games played, so the panic may be premature. But in football, narratives form quickly. If Alexander-Arnold spends too much time on the bench, his future will inevitably come under scrutiny. City will be watching, waiting, and perhaps preparing a blockbuster offer. Conclusion: a transfer saga in the making. The prospect of Trent Alexander-Arnold leaving Real Madrid so soon after arriving may seem absurd. Yet, football thrives on the absurd. If Manchester City sense an opportunity, they will test Madrid's resolve and Trent's loyalty.